What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today, and of course, you can tell by the title of the video or the thumbnail, something like that. We have next-gen kind of news for Madden 21, of course, the PS5 or the Xbox X Series, well, Series X, whatever you want to call it. Of course, I'll be getting on the Xbox. I mean, I already have the upgrade thingy ready to go. I honestly, looking into this, I know a lot of people were hyped about next-gen, but honestly, I really didn't care too much, just because for me as a content creator, I mean, unless I get like a 4K graphics card, it's not going to look much better for you guys. It might look a little different because apparently there's going to be some different changes. We're about to learn about them, but as far as graphically, it's not going to get too much better for the YouTube side of things. So I suppose as a gameplay side, I guess it's kind of cool as we're staring DK Metcalf right in his ass, as we all wanted to see anyways, let's be honest. But we're about to see a little 2-minute trailer. There might be another 1-minute trailer on Twitter. I can't remember. I'll take a look in a second. And then, of course, there is a like Gridiron Notes kind of thing. So definitely a little bit of a longer kind of news video. We'll also have a rebuild today of the Seahawks. I can't tell if we're going to do a realistic or fantasy. I haven't decided yet. And of course, on the second channel, PK Plays, there will be a Spider-Man video. So lots of stuff today. And I did promise you guys a stream yesterday. Couldn't do it because I just had a bad stomach ache. Hot wings, am I right? But after the Seahawks-Cardinals game, most likely going to be a stream on twitch.tv/Jeromepkr. So tons of stuff. If you like franchise, leave a like and subscribe. Enough of that. Let's get into it. Hopefully we can get this bar out of the way so I can, watch this. Oh, Lord, that is loud. Oh, Lord, that is a loud one. And DK Metcalf on the sideline. Of course, you got to show the rain, because if you don't show the rain, it's not next gen, is it? Oh, Madden 20. Oh, I love snow games. Snow games are so cool.
Realistic NFL simulation ever. It begins with next-gen player movement powered by NFL next-gen stats. RFID tags and NFL players' shoulder pads chart their every move within inches. And this information now drives all animation in Madden, delivering unique acceleration rates, directional changes, and movement for all players on the field. You'll feel the explosion of Michael Thomas in and out of his breaks, the elite acceleration and blow-by ability of Henry Ruggs, and the raw
corner was right on him, though.
Cook, feeling dangerous on every touch. Defensively, players will move and position themselves based on their next-gen stats data. Elite defenders will react authentically to make plays on the ball and take unique angles when chasing down ball carriers. Next-gen player movement delivers realistic and smooth simulation gameplay based on actual NFL player data. Thanks to next-gen stats, you can only experience this in Madden. Throughout each game, key moments trigger next-gen stats replays, giving you an analytical breakdown of the play. Over 15 specific data points tracked on every down.
I mean, I like that. I like that.
You need to make strategic decisions and
more of a franchise thing, of course.
To help create these highlight moments, play calling is now more intuitive and accessible. You can easily call plays to get the ball in the hands of your star players. You can save your favorite plays to find quickly when the perfect moment arrives.
So, more, simpler for the casual player, which I like. I'm sometimes the casual player myself.
Feel game day in Madden NFL 21.
All right, so not a whole lot to show there, right? December 4th, next gen. I think I have to keep both downloaded because I think in the league, obviously not every single person in the history of mankind is going to get a next-gen console, which is obviously all right. So I think I need to keep both versions. But one of the things, like, once again, they're highlighting, what was this, the explosive? What do they say about Ruggs?
Lead acceleration and blow-by ability of Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. You say that, but Charvarius White is all over. Charvarius Ward is all over him, and there's about a 10 speed difference there. So say what you want, but it didn't really show much. I did like the wiggle from what's his name, Michael Thomas. That did look like that looked new. I don't know if that's actually going to be in the game. That was just something they coded in, and once we get the game, it's like, oh, remember that thing in the trailer? Me neither. By the way, is this not 1080? I think it's just because it's not 60 FPS. But that little wiggle was kind of like new looking. Was there anything else that we missed?
And this information.
Why is he? Why did he stop there?
And this information.
He's watching the quarterback. So I don't know if he's thrown it already or, he looks to throw. Why did he stop there? Can we slow this down a little bit? See how much that might slow it down too much. No, it's perfect. He was right here. He went this way, stopped, and then he stopped again over here, and then he starts running. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is Jared Davis. He's a bad player. Well, specifically in coverage. I believe that's Jared Davis. So it doesn't absolutely shock me, in fairness. Is there anything else? Oh, Rodgers. Face looks exactly the same as he is in the game. And it's not bad, but it's not great. It could have been better, considering it's a star player, so you got to factor that in for the guys that aren't star players. What else did we have? I think I seen something else I didn't like. No one cares, dude. Crowd looks pretty similar as before. Nothing there to show. Try to see if we see any aliens. Was there any aliens there? You know what I'm talking about. If you watch my channel, you know. There's still no number on his jersey. So unless he's like a fan, I don't know why his jersey number's on wrong. Or, not the jersey number wrong. His name's not on. Like what the hell is that all about? Or the thing I thought that was actually extra, it was just like a different snippet, I think, of the same thing. So we're on the Gridiron, no, I almost said Gridiron Gang now. I haven't watched that movie in a while. Welcome to the Gridiron Notes for Madden 21, Next Gen, blah, blah, blah. Next Gen stats seems to be like the big thing. It's almost like a kind of a lazy thing. I mean, I guess if you're they had to code it into the game, so it wasn't like the easiest thing in the world. It wasn't just like a slap on, so I guess. But I mean, as far as this Next Gen stats go, I do like it for franchise, but for the casual player, don't know how much that's going to come into play. I don't even know if these are going to show up during the game, because obviously you have to get in and out of play calling and this and that when you're playing an actual game head to head. So online games, I don't even think this is going to even exist, is it? NFL player tracking, also known as Next Gen Stats, is the capture of real-time location data, speed, and acceleration for every player, every play on every inch of the field. Sensors throughout the stadium track RFID tags placed on players' shoulder pads, charting individual movements within inches in every NFL stadium. So, as far as this goes, I really wonder if it's actually going to be like legit. Now, as far as, maybe the distance or the time to throw, probably, right? But I wonder how many stats are going to be made up. Like, is the speed actually going to be like legitimate? At one point you have a pick with like a linebacker that's like running for a pick six. Are they going to say he ran like 25 miles per hour or something ridiculous? Like, I wonder if everything is actually going to be accurate. Which, if it is, that's, pretty cool. Next Gen Stats equals Next Gen Player Movement, leveraging the power of an NFL Next Gen Stats. I don't know why I got really slow there reading. Next Gen Player Movement is fueled by real athletic data, route paths, and acceleration rates, allowing the next generation of NFL to deliver the most realistic, authentic, and fluid player movement in franchise history. Feel the most elite NFL athletes at every position move on the virtual field like they do in real life. So I don't believe that for one bit. But, hey, pretty cool, right? So, if this is true, it definitely feels like the athletic players, like, Tyreek Hill, the fast guys, are going to be extra OP in Next Gen, which is great because, it's not like those guys were already super hard to stop the way it was. But if that's the case, as far as athleticism goes, there's a very big disparaging, comparison. That's kind of what it is. There's a big disparage between the wide receivers and running backs compared to the defensive players in the league, specifically agility-wise. So, that could be a problem if it is what it sounds like, right? Expanding on the player archetypes introduced in Madden 21 on the current gen. I don't think those are introduced. Like, what? I feel like that was like last year, wasn't it? We've added more animation context and nuance to each unique archetype on the next generation tech so that they will move and feel even more differently on the sticks. For example, a big bruising back carrier will run with the heavier weights and produce more tackle outcomes where he gains extra yards, with a small agile ball carrier will change direction efficiently and avoid tackles rather than power through them. So that's the problem with Madden currently. I don't know what the ultimate team or professional side of things is like. I can't really, assume the bigger, slower guys get more burned than the elusive guys, because at the end of the day, just like in real life, it is about the blocking. So obviously, the quicker you get to the blocks, the more yards you're going to typically get. So that's the tough thing as far as, defending EA. I will say it is tough to balance that because on one hand, it makes sense that the elusive guys will get more yards following linemen because they can get in and out very quickly. That's what she said. While if you have a big ball carrier, how do you balance it to where the ball carrier is not always falling forward? You can't have a big guy always falling forward because sometimes those guys, they don't get up to speed quick enough, and speed does matter. If a 220-pound linebacker is running full speed into Derrick Henry, who's got 25, 30 pounds on him, but he's only at like 75% speed, there's a good chance the linebacker will win because that is extra force. So how do you balance those things? I don't know. So hopefully, my takeaway is hopefully bigger guys are more usable. Even in our most recent series, the Bulldogs franchise, we obviously have a bad line there, and the elusive fast guy has more yards per carry by a lot because any tiny little blocking hole we have, he can burst through it. Whereas Dylan, who is decent power back, you compare the two as a pure running back, Dylan is better. But because he's so much slower, he just doesn't get any yards. So I really hope that is the case. I want guys to fall forward if they're big. I want guys to run through people if they're big. I want them to make more sense. But as far as the unique player movement per archetype goes, ball carrier, agile small, agile tall, bruiser quick, bruiser heavy. So maybe like a Nick Chubb versus... I guess I'll go back to A.J. Dillon because, once again, he's kind of like a Derrick Henry type, but he's slower. I can't really say Derrick Henry because he is kind of quick-ish, so I can't really, I don't know, it's tough there. But route runners, wide receiver, running back, tight end, split up between agile small, agile tall, bruiser quick, bruiser heavy. So, pretty much the same thing. So your Gronk would be a bruiser heavy. Bruiser quick would maybe be like a Travis Kelce, perhaps. Maybe a Kittle, agile, tall, maybe like a Noah Fant, I guess, those types of players. So fair enough. And then pass block movement for O-line. So maybe the faster guys will actually be more useful. It seems like, your Terran Armstead, it just, he doesn't change much. Tyron Smith, they don't really play much differently than, let's say like a big tackle. I can't really think of someone on my top of my, like Orlando Brown, I guess. But with next-gen stats and route running, with next-gen innovation, route running in Madden 21 is completely overhauled. Receivers will run actual routes logged by next-gen stats, real NFL game data, in addition to speed and acceleration rates. Our animation engine is also leveraging player-specific route paths from next-gen stats for individual receivers. For example, the path that Green Bay Packers wide receiver Davante Adams takes on a deep crossing route on a Sunday afternoon will be the same deep crossing routes reflected by Adams in Madden NFL gameplay. The result is natural feeling, fluid routes with more rounded turns, athletic nuance, and player differentiation. By the way, talking about Davante Adams, let's put a picture of Amari Cooper. It really is the small things, right? Like here we're talking about archetypes, which once again, like I said, I feel like this was affecting faster guys more often. So Tyreek Hill, proper pitcher, not bad. Fair enough for Lamar. He's the cover athlete. Tua, a lot of people are talking about him. Fair enough. You go to route running. Don't get me wrong, Amari Cooper's a good route runner, but you're literally talking about Davante Adams. It's the only name you showed up. You didn't even put him on the freaking picture. I'm just saying, it's just the small things, isn't it? Before on current gen, previous gen. By the way, they say previous gen. Current next gen is still kind of next gen, right? Like, I guess it's current gen, but I don't like this thought of on previous gen as if, original Madden 21, that was years ago. That's our excuse. This game came out years ago. No. This was the product you literally put out months ago. Still stick with it, okay? Our receivers ran from one specific point to another point at top speed all the time and made very similar cuts with very little. Once again, 2-3 months old project. Literally 2 to 3 months ago. So you're trying to say is you didn't care about the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and PC Madden? So you're literally admitting right now your game was bad. Nice. After, on next-gen player ratings and archetypes will heavily impact the quality and speed of each route, and they will be run as an entire route from start to finish rather than each individual portion of a route on previous gen. So I'm trying to figure out how this is going to play with the offensive line, because they're saying top speed all the time, made very similar cuts. We all know it. Every single route runs basically the same. Honestly, even with your speed, unless it's a streak, or it's a deep route, a lot of the guys did kind of run almost the same speed on almost every single route. I mean, we showed it literally with a Terry McLaurin versus Justin Ross route, where Ross actually ran the same route better despite having worse ratings and slower speed. Of course, I don't remember if there was a press or not on the play. There might have been, so fair enough, that could have affected it. Ross is a bigger guy, but just as far as this goes, I think it's just hilarious that they're basically saying their game's bad without even realizing it. But I just wonder if this is going to be kind of let's say, because the Devontae Adams, great release, but it is kind of a process. So it might take a little bit longer to run routes, and of course, pass rush is kind of rough to deal with. So I wonder how this is going to work. I wonder if the game's just going to be broken as hell day one. Now we're moving on to next-gen stats and defense. Next-gen player movement doesn't just benefit the offense. We also analyze the next-gen stats. I hope so. I sure hope it does. Stats data for defensive players in terms of speed, facing direction, and acceleration. This data has allowed our animation engine to provide the appropriate content to make defenders who are backpedaling and strafing much more natural looking and athletic, and coverage players will react to break on plays more consistently and predictably. And next-gen stats also brought improvements to AI pursuit, so that when AI-controlled defenders are pursuing a ball carrier, they will now get in a better position to make a play or be in a better position for a timely click on for the user to make the play. Words are one thing, actions are another. That's always been a huge problem. Pursuit angles have been bad, and they seem to be getting worse every single Madden. Tackling in the open field is harder than ever, and I get it. That kind of is the way it is in real life, but for the wrong reasons here. The guys will actually make a move on you in real life and get around you, whereas Madden, they'll just run past you because you just don't have the same options on defense as an offensive player. It just seems like it's so much easier to just run by someone than it is to click on. It seems like you have to be almost sniffing them and, knowing what shampoo product they use to actually make an A tackle in the game. Of course, you also still have those kind of suction hit sticks where you would still get a hit stick when you're on the side of them out of position. So, it's like a real weird balance where A tackles don't seem to work. Hit stick tackles seem to work from, tackling someone at the goal line when you're at midfield. But of course, hopefully some of those things are right. I also don't like the fact that it says next-gen player movement doesn't just benefit the offense. That really gives me okay, so it's like a 70% boost to the offense, 30% boost to the defense type of deal. It definitely, feels that way. Lastly, but just as important for the defensive side of the ball, was next-level tech for tackling. We built a new tackle prediction and anticipation technology we call Rally. With Rally, not only will you be able to start tackle and interactions easier, but you'll see more variety in tackles, improve visual quality in terms of tackle prep and anticipation, and more authentic interactions during impact moments. The biggest thing I would have liked to see was group tackling. Once again, there is kind of a group aspect sometimes. As bad as it is, I want, even if you want to call it a penalty, I want 3 guys to be holding a guy up and he's still fighting. I can dive in there and just bowl them all down. Because there's so many times where you get an animation where, let's say it's a one-on-one and the guy's breaking the tackle and your guy's just sitting there waiting. What is he waiting for? Grab him and help. 2-on-1, that guy's going down 90% of the time. Of course, for this next-gen powered replays, long story short, unless I'm skipping over the dumb things, they're going to show you the stuff we see in the trailer. Oh, Josh Allen threw the ball 70 yards downfield. He had 4 seconds to throw the ball. That interception, it was a 23-mile-per-hour run back, whatever it may be, basically. And then here are the things. So the next time you flatten a left tackle and sack the quarterback under 2 seconds, put a couple of defenders on skates for blah, blah, blah. We get it. So, ball carrier speed, tackle length, time to sack. I like it. I do like it. I actually like this. Broken tackles, all that. I like that. It's, once again, probably more of a franchise thing, specifically against the AI, but, I take anything that adds to the experience to provide a solid foundation for the player movement system. We've also added a significant upgrade to our play call system, giving players more control to call the best plays for the right players on every down via by best player caller or by play call or play calling. You can now keep all your preferred plays on speed dial with the new favorite play marker and playbook tab. So if you didn't think that your opponent was running only 1 or 2 plays too often before, now it's even easier for them to find those 1 or 2 plays they run all game, which provides an intuitive way to save your favorites and easily find them for later. An easily accessible go-to play feature is something our fans have requested for a long time, and we were excited to deliver it on next gen. So how long we talking? I am not in the pro scene or anything like that. I'm more of a casual kind of creator. I try to make things more funny than they are serious, even though lately I've kind of been going for the more serious stuff, even though I've been joking around. Is that actually a long-asking feature? Because if it is, that is laughably bad, because that is so simple. It is so simple. It's the bare minimum. I mean, you get features like that on games that aren't even about sports. Like, it's so simple. Why does it take so long? We've made the play call screen more intuitive and user-friendly while still having the depth and power of our core fans love. In addition to the enhancements described above, you'll be able to see your Superstar X Factor abilities and their stats for the current game, all right inside the play call screen. Where? What? I don't see it. Additional gameplay improvements. Next gen, so improvements came new gameplay. Pass lead. Player moving up to the ability to lead receivers on deep. So coverage is going to be impossible to play. Easier to read running lanes and find the satisfying cutback lanes. Run game should be able to find those lanes easier. Hopefully you don't get grabbed by someone who's completely out of position. QB movement in and out of the pocket is smooth and athletic. You'll be able to feel the differentiation. Hopefully, usually a lot of times when I'm trying to run with a quarterback in the pocket, he takes like the longest strides in the world. Head tracking movement is more realistic for receivers when running routes and for ball carriers in terms of where they're looking at, making them look more aware. So this is just I believe this is just like a cosmetic thing. Stuff like that in a lot of EA games, even FIFA. They aren't looking at the ball. Specifically, this happens with defenders. They're not even looking at the ball, and then somehow they just zoom to the ball as soon as it's thrown. They just know. Tackling, we already talked about rally tech. We've also improved gang tackles. Gang tackles will trigger more often with much more variety. We've also made improvements to tackle momentum, and it's now more realistic with direction, weight, and speed of the players involved, taking into account tackle selection and post-tackle follow-through, and even defensive players can now interact with gang tackles. Oh, users. Okay, so I like that. Once again, we literally talked about that. That was a huge issue for me, is guys sitting there. Now, depends on what they mean by gang tackles. I would assume that's 2+, but that could be, 4+, which would be really bad. I want 2+. So if there's even, I'm usering and there's a guy already being tackled, let me help bring him down. If that's not in next gen, I'm giving the game a 1 out of 10. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know if I'm going to do a review for next gen or not, but I'll give it a 1 out of 10 right out the gate. I don't care. Improved pass rush timing with the passing game moving at a more realistic speed, which seems to be light speed. It's going to be impossible to stop the pass, it seems. Pass rush has more of an impact relative to the timing relationship between the quarterback dropback, the depth of the route, and the speed of the incoming pass rushers. So let me read that again. I'm trying to figure out what this means. Does this mean it's scripted then? I don't understand how that works. So like if the route's longer, they're going to be slower? I'm not really sure exactly what they mean here. I don't get that. I just don't understand. It literally seems simple. It's like, okay, so if the pass is a long developing one, the pass rush will get there. I mean, that's pretty basic, right? That's literally what's going on, no? And then, of course, blazing fast load times, whatever. Simply put, that is everything we know about next gen. On paper, I loving the things I'm hearing. They're all great, but as far as implementation, which I don't even know is a word or not, I have my doubts. I'm going to be honest. I definitely have my doubts. But regardless, let's see what it's like. Hopefully, it's 2 different downloads, because once again, like I said, for Rams franchise, we will have to use, current gen, last gen, whatever they want to call it, which I'm fine with, once again. And then for every other series, we'll be able to do the new gen. So I don't know if I'm excited. I don't know if I'm more excited or less excited after seeing this. Once again, like I said, I wasn't really even looking forward to next gen. I was just like, I honestly thought they weren't changing the game at all. Maybe I gave EA not enough credit. Maybe this is actually going to be a decent upgrade. But I really just thought it was a graphical update. I didn't know they were actually going to change a single thing. So fair enough to them. Hopefully a lot of things they are. Holy crap, his leg looks huge there. McCaffrey's got some pretty skinny legs, no? And also this screenshot looks kind of like Madden 20-ish. Like that field just does not look. I mean, look at the field. Like, did they not mow it enough? Like, it looks really patchy. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be good. I mean, there's some things here I like, and of course, like I said, with the whole next gen stats, might be more fun for franchise. It might be like, you know, some more funny interactions where I'm like, yo, how fast is he? You know, like, so fair enough there. Let me know what you guys took away from this. If there's something I missed, or I had a really good point and you want to elaborate on it, or there's something you're worried about or something you're excited about, let me know in the comment section below. Like I said, more content from me later today, so keep a lookout there. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys come back for next video, but until next video, sorry if this was too long. I went in depth pretty hard here, and sometimes I went on about nothing. Until next video, see ya!